You can't be in his shadow, by the way.
Non-confrontation.
He's got to be in the middle. There you go.
They just don't want to confront the government, the council. So we're trying to determine what the status is. Right
You are
now
streaming, sir, now.
Of their willingness. So it's. No, Phyllis is not on the council
Have him step back, and you guys step in the middle. We're started, so let's start with the other.
But then when David Archambault Jr. decided,
have him go to the side. You go in the middle. Go ahead.
She didn't, she had stepped off her seat and the council to run for the chairmanship.
Or hi from the UK. Here, you want to answer?
16.
Sure, yeah.
Please, while we're doing this. Why don't you say we're going to do an update, and then I'll just show some pictures of the camp.
Well,
okay, yeah. So after our attorney gets off the phone here, we're going to be doing some general updates from camp about the legal context and the arrival of the veterans in the coming days. While we're waiting on that, though, our fearless cameraman Chuck is going to be showing you some shots from camp. It's a pretty warm day here in Cannonball, so.
Put together a forum, just trying to do it by forum. You got to have all of them have the opportunity to come. This is good in and of itself, Chuck. I think
we're doing it. All right.
So that's where we are right now. Bottom line is that Henderson is representing in a text to Faith Spotted from the Yankees that he was not considered she is communicating to us the fact that she has a direct experience with him of having represented a meeting as not
just come around the side of it
and then turning around and making
it. Just there.
And she's notified Phyllis to that effect. And the Yankton Sioux tribe and the Cheyenne River Sioux tribe, that is those reservations, have gotten their lawyers to prepare a draft. It is there now drafted up a request for a temporary restraining order, understanding by the moment to file it if necessary.
Okay, so currently, while our update is Danny on the phone, we're going to show you, which is always a highlight, the battery charging bicycle.
This is our charging station where people can pedal to charge their phone. We're just doing an update.
Just like an overall reminder why we're here, get some statistics, say the veterans are coming, and they've been building the banner. You want to do that? Okay, you do that. Okay, so yeah, I'll pass it off when I start talking about the vets. I'll just say
Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to do an update about the fact that, boy, did I get sick. I got lozenges. If you hear me coughing, my apologies. When the blizzard came, it was intense. We showed you some pictures and update from the blizzard. But we're back out. We're going to be trying to do an updates a couple times a day if we can. We've got 4 days going here. So be aware the streams will be coming. We're sorry for 2 days down, but we'll get this update going pretty quick here.
Who's the guy that's doing the? Am I on the right side or the wrong side?
No, but you gotta start talking to the camera.
But let me ask this: who's
Mark Farner?
Mark
Farner.
Mark Farner is doing the concert here tonight. He's going to bring
about 15 vets.
15 or so vets up on the stage, including the Weston Clark Jr.
Is what we're trying for.
That's the thing we have underway right now. We're in communication with him get him to do that at the concert at the Prairie Nights Casino tonight, which is like.
Okay, you're about to get a real update here. You will get a lot of information in about 5 minutes. This is all happening very real time, and that's why Danny's on his phone, because phones are real time, and there's a lot of real time stuff going on.
Yeah. Yep.
Sydney, Australia.
Yes. Yep. That's a perfectly succinct and appropriate request.
Why is it speeding back?
So there's a dialogue going on right now, and it was they can do this. I mean, you can shoot this.
Right, we're ready to do update. We're good to go.
Okay. Yeah, no, they don't have to wait. They can shoot it. This can be live streaming right now.
It is.
Oh, all right. Well, then, isn't that okay?
Yeah, but they're waiting for you.
Oh, me to say something directly
Yeah.
to them. Okay, I'll do that. But this is sort of an update. They're getting an update.
Right,
here
they're
too.
not understanding your call.
The bottom line right now is there's this dialogue, a three-way dialogue going on by representatives of the traditional Lakota-speaking people in the Nacha, and then there is a middle level of the Treaty Council people that they're asserting that the treaty, the descendants of those who signed the treaty, are invoking the treaties as the source of authority for their custody over this land. And then there are the tribal council people who apparently feel bound by whatever legal position the United States government has taken, and that is that this is land that has been seized by eminent domain, and therefore the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has the authority to make decisions about the land. And that's what we're trying to get them to. We want them to adopt more of a traditional position on the thing, or a treaty position. Either one will suffice, but they can't just roll over and accept the position of the U.S.
Danny,
government.
people are wondering if they should be hearing this.
Yes, it's okay. No,
Okay.
this is an update.
We want to make sure. It's just they're not sure what they're listening to.
Yeah, okay. I'm here.
We should probably cut it before we actually
Yeah, no,
start.
I've got to go. I've got to do a live stream with our folks that are out standing by for an update.
Well, yeah, but what if people want to later watch an update like this specific?
I'd like to hear what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to hear it.
Sure, it's a microphone. There's 304 people going. So
Okay. I'll take a look at it.
okay.
I will.
Goodbye.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thanks. Thanks, bud.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm back. Now that is I've been in communication with some people who have potentially more direct line of communications to people inside the government, the administration. So that's what that is. I'm trying to keep them updated on how clear it is that what is being attempted on the part of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is not legally supportable. And we're aware of it, and that the tribal council people are aware of it, that the treaty council people are aware of it, and that the traditional Lakota-speaking community and elders and Nacha and others are aware of this.
Somebody said put a hat on, you're going to get cold.
That's right.
Well, so let's start with an update and
All
then
right.
kick into that, and because we're ready to go. So
Okay, well,
And just real quick, I will be flagging your questions. I have my phone on me right now. If you have any specific questions that you want us to answer, flag them with "Hey Kelsey," and I will be paying attention to them.
Okay. So no, go ahead. I'll go. So here's the bottom line. That as of today, the primary things happening now is that there are, you can see them right here. There are probably I don't know what's your estimate. These cars plus all these that are lined up over here. Yeah.
Just total number of cars here?
Yeah. No. Those still coming in right
There's
now.
probably 50 cars.
Yeah.
You're probably 50 cars right now, and there's more still coming in the background.
Yeah.
And they're all coming in to the site. They're preparing basically for this so-called deadline of December 5th. But it's important to remember that all that's happened is that the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, who claims to have legal custody over this area where we're standing, and we're standing here right here to the south of us is the Cannonball River. The Cannonball River, according to the United States government, is the northernmost boundary of the Standing Rock Sioux Reservation. But that is only because back in 1954, the United States government exercised, from their point of view, an act of eminent domain and seized all of this property here that you can see. And this was all land that was explicitly acknowledged, not granted by the U.S. government, but acknowledged by the United States government to already have belonged for 1,000 years to the people of the Seven Council Fires, or the people of the Oceti-Sakowin Oyate. And so all of this land here is understood on the part of the people of the Seven Council Fires, or what white people understand to be the Great Sioux Nation. It is all land that belongs traditionally to the people of the Oceti-Sakowin. Okay, the United States government takes the position that the land north of the river, that if you can see it, is sitting right out over there, that all of this land north of it, where we're standing, has been taken over. It's been taken by the United States government through an act of eminent domain back in 1954. The purpose purported for that seizure by the United States government was to flood all of this land to constitute a reservoir that would be the water behind a dam that the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers built on the Missouri River. And you can see the Missouri River off to our east, right there. You can see it right through there. Okay, and what the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is confronted with right now is the demand on the part of a purely private corporation to drill. You can see over there in the distance, over at the top of that far hill over there, you can see the vehicles that are aligned up there, and that is the North Dakota State Police and the Morton County Deputy Sheriff's Association that are in armored vehicles that have been provided to them in the normal course of law enforcement events by the Obama administration and the W. Bush administration, military equipment that was originally designed to be used in Iraq and Afghanistan. These are just some of the sights and sounds that are normal here on the site. Somebody has left their car. They're taking it out of here now. But the bottom line is that someone's trying to figure out how to turn the horn on.
Hold on, he'll get there. Okay, here, we'll show him what's beeping. So you have context for it.
There we go. Okay. So, and you can see over here. Take a look over here right by and see. Here's people with their little husky dogs here. This is the media tent up here, and this is the media tent that's up on the top of what they call Facebook Hill, which is because up here on the Facebook Hill you can get a signal for the internet, and as soon as you go down off the hill into this other area between here and the Missouri River, that you lose any kind of signal, which from the point of view of the Lakota people is a good thing. but the bottom line is here is that you see assembled up at the top, you see the police now, the state police and the county sheriff's office. Here's some people here coming right here. See, these are people that are part of the security force here that are they're helping to maintain order and stuff here in the. Hi, you guys. How you doing? How you doing, guys? Good.
Hey, we're getting questions. We're getting asked to focus on Danny.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm getting here.
all right. So the bottom line is that this thing that you can see up here.
They got this.
That's Turtle Island.
Hey, did you just get here?
The
We're doing a live
the
stream
high
right now,
ground that you can
actually,
see
so I
there
will
is
talk
called
to you.
it's called Turtle Island, and really all it really is, it was a high point of ground before the flooding back in 1954 to 58 when the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers came in and dammed the Missouri River, and they backed the water up, and it was anticipated, pursuant to the exercise of eminent domain, the reason they took all of this land is because they had intended to have all of this land flooded by the lake, which is called Lake Oahe.
And it's a large reservoir on the Missouri River.
Yeah, and this, so they intended to have this all flooded. So what they've done is you can see that they did not flood the entire area. They flooded just a portion of it, which you can see a bit off over to the side over here. You can see it around Turtle Island right here. That they flooded only less than half of the land, and so all of this land, though they seized it under the guise of putting it to the public interest by flooding it and making electricity for people around the state of North Dakota, in other states around here. The fact of the matter is they have not used it for that, and now they're in the process of getting ready to try to just give it, in effect, to a private corporation, not for the benefit of the people. This statement that was issued yesterday by President-elect Trump is just total bunk. You know, he has said, oh, that we think it's really important for the benefit of the people of America that this pipeline go through. That's total drivel. There isn't a single drop of oil that is contemplated going through this pipeline that is going to help one American citizen other than the private stockholders of that company, because they're intending to sell every drop of that oil to foreign countries for their personal profit.
Right. And so Turtle Island, by the way, is a sacred site. There are ancestral burial grounds there. And on Thanksgiving Day, a group of water protectors went over there and tried to get them to move off the land, and they refused.
Yes.
So here we are today. And so the main concerns about this pipeline are is if it spills, it's going to damage the drinking water of the people at the Standing Rock Sioux Tribe and for millions of people downstream. So the future pipeline operator, Sunoco, has spilled crude oil more than 200 times since 2010. And if you look at the numbers, that's about one spill every week. And then in total in the United States, there are over 1,000 crude oil spills since 2010. So that's way more than once a week. And when this spills, it's releasing toxic chemicals into the drinking water, and not only hurting humans, but also like the ecosystem and the life forms that live around there.
Well, because this is also right above the aquifer.
Right.
That below us is the Ogallala Aquifer, and
Lake Oahe.
And the fact of the matter is, what they're saying is, oh look, the oil company is saying, look, we're going to drill under the burial grounds and under the holy land here. And the fact of the matter is, the traditional understanding of the Lakota people is that the people are buried at a spot where they have access to in both directions to the whole universe, spiritually, above them and below them. And so the digging under them and contaminating the ground under their burial site is just as damaging spiritually as contaminating it above their burial sites. So that it's a complete disregard on the part of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers of the traditional spiritual beliefs of the people.
And also going back to Donald Trump, I just want to point out that Donald Trump personally had invested about over $500,000 in the pipeline developer, Energy Transfer Partners. And this past summer, he sold most of his shares. Now he only has about 50,000. However, he has about 100,000 in Phillips 66, which owns about a quarter of the pipeline. So he's got an interest here to make sure it goes through. Warren, the CEO of Energy Transfer Partners, has announced that when Trump comes into office, she knows that it's going to go through and that he's going to let it go through. And he even announced, like Danny said on Thursday, that he fully supports the pipeline going through so that it could benefit all, Americans.
Benefit all Americans. So if there's one single thing that you need to tell everybody, your family, your friends, and on all of your email blasts, is you tell them not one single drop of this oil that they're talking about putting through this pipeline. It was 470,000 barrels.
Yeah, about
a day.
470,000 a day.
Not one single drop of that is going to go to provide any energy whatsoever to a single American.
Well, and I got another update to that. Does not the governor of North Dakota have investment in the Bakken oil fields where a lot of this stuff originates? I believe that is true. I do believe that's true. We will look that up and we'll confirm that.
For
but the people running this on not just on a federal level, but even on the state level, they have investment in this energy dollar.
And so the
money maker.
This is what's happening right here, this moment, and it's right now. The major anticipation is two things. One is that these 2,000, and now the latest information is that maybe somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 veterans are going to be coming here over the weekend. It's now Saturday morning. They're coming in Saturday and Sunday, and they're going to be coming in to array themselves to deploy all along the northern boundary here between the police and the water protectors, whom you see here.
Yeah, they've announced they're going to act as human shields. So yeah, we've got more than 2,000 expected to come here. They've already started building barracks and helping around. Kelsey's going to give us more of an update on that soon. But just before we get into that, I just want to point out that on Monday, the governor of North Dakota announced this emergency evacuation of this camp, citing public safety concerns. And so on Wednesday, he stated that he actually has no intention to, what's the word I'm looking for? To physically remove people out of here. Yeah, right. But I just want to also say that the Morgan County Sheriff's Department has said that they are going to fine people who are bringing supplies and food into the camp. Fines up to over $1,000, right?
Yeah.
And so, Kelsey, you want to give more of an update on the vets?
Sure. I'm going to weasel on in here. Okay, so we are expecting 2,000 vets have registered as coming here, but there are already a lot of veterans who have been here for a while or have come here in the last couple days. Over on the east side of camp at the Veterans for Peace camp, there are barracks being built to house some of those veterans. Although veterans on social media and news outlets have stated that they are going to be self-sufficient and they will be bringing their own camping equipment to be able to be here for as long as needed to behave or to act as human shields. Several nights ago, there was an operation to take razor wire off of Turtle Island. While that has not really been reported by mainstream media, you can search around Facebook and find that there are videos of that action taking place on Turtle Island in the middle of the night. LPLP is going to speak to some veterans who are here and how long they've been here, kind of get an explanation of why they came and who they came with. There's already veterans tents kind of popping up all over camp. And so, if you have any particular questions about the veterans, I can you can flag them as Hey Kelsey, and I will try to respond to them as quickly and as efficiently as possible.
Also, I just want to point out there have been a lot of people saying there's already been an environmental impact report done. No, it's not true. There's been an environmental assessment report done by Dakota Access LLC, and I don't think we trust them and their environmental assessment. And it's not only us. It's the EPA, the Department of the Interior, the senior officials of both of those groups have said that, have voiced major concerns about the environmental consequences of building the pipeline through this water source in Lake Ohio.
Also, from a legal point of view, it's really important to understand that there's an overall environmental impact report that is required for any type of a major project. And what they have done, the Dakota Access Pipeline LLC has done, is they have filed requests for just little limited areas, limited acreage for building a portion of the pipeline, just as though it's like an individual person building a pipeline to their boathouse or something, and say, therefore, we don't have to file an environmental impact statement for the overall project. They've segmented the project into like 1,000 little pieces and filed the permits for each one. And the Corps of Engineers has accepted that. Now, that is in complete violation of the letter of the law and the spirit of the Environmental Protection Act. And so it's transparent on the face of it that these people are manipulating the law, and that the Environmental Administration has the duty to enforce the federal laws against these people. And the problem is that the oil company and now Trump are using this complete deception of pretending that this is being done for the public interest, that this is being done to provide energy for our people and to make us energy independent. That's total crap. I mean, it's a complete willful lie that this is all oil that is going to be sold. They're going to they're trying to pipe it through here down into Illinois and refine it and ship it out through the Great Lakes, and then hook it into the pipeline going down to the Gulf of Mexico and ship it out to other countries down there. This is a total lie. This is basically stealing the oil in the United States to sell by private people for profit to foreign countries. This is transparently bogus that is going on. And you have now the threat of the assemblies. You can't see them right now, but they'll come out. As soon as they know that there's a major action going on here, they'll start to assemble. There were times across the whole top of these hills that you can see here in the distance over there. The whole top of those ridges was just lined with hundreds and hundreds of military police that were fully armed in body armor, with rubber bullets and mace and pepper spray.
Yeah, they've got face shields on
and full riot gear, and they were throwing concussion grenades into the crowd, and injuring people, and pouring tear gas on everybody here. And all that it was, and they lied. They blocked off this bridge. They blocked off the bridge that's over here that you can see. They said, there was their determination that the bridge was unsafe. That it was structurally unsafe, and so therefore they had to block it off. And so what they did is they pulled police vehicles across the bridge, actually put the vehicles on the bridge, which they said was unsafe, and tried to block off the bridge so that the people couldn't come across the bridge.
Well, they've actually erected these concrete barriers now that have razor wire on them.
Yeah, and so they're constantly pretending that they're doing this for the safety of the people. Right? This is for
Meanwhile,
the safety.
they also cut off emergency access to Bismarck.
Well, the governor said, you can believe this, in his proclamation, he said he was, in order to ensure public safety, he was issuing an order prohibiting any of the public safety officials of the state to provide any public safety services to the people on this facility. I mean, how Orwellian is that? I mean, that's how crazy this is here. These people do not have a legitimate basis for their claim other than this unilateral exercise of power by the United States government in 1954 to seize this land in total violation of the Treaty of 1851, Fort Laramie, and 1868. In the treaty, it says explicitly the United States government, as a condition of keeping the Oglala and the Umpapa people of the Oceti-Sakowin from attacking their military when they were coming in here, the United States government would formally recognize that they had complete and total sovereignty over this territory, and there would be no alteration for any portion of the land unless the 3/4 of all of the adult males in the Oceti-Sakowin voted to alter the status of the land. I mean, and they said that would last as long as the sun shall shine and as long as the grass shall grow.
Do you want to give an update all about what went down yesterday in Bismarck? Is there a way to discuss that?
Well, what happened? What happened?
Speaking of 3/4 of the adult male population not being there.
Well, what we're dealing with here is that the seizure of this land, the attempted seizure, or the purported seizure of this land by the United States government back in 1954, for the purposes of flooding this entire area to be a reservoir for the dam that they built to generate electricity, that it was just as illegal as the seizure of the Black Hills back in 1874, after the Treaty of 1868, which guaranteed this land, including the Black Hills and including this land you see here. All of this was seized by a unilateral action on the part of the United States government in total violation of the treaty. There's a United States Supreme Court case of 1980 called the Great Sioux Nation versus the United States, in which the United States Supreme Court acknowledged that that kind of a seizure was a total, absolute, unquestioned violation of the treaty. And then the problem was the court said, well, we're going to treat that as though it were an act of eminent domain. And therefore, the United States government, all they have to do is provide just compensation to the Lakota people in exchange for the seizure of the land, completely ignoring the fact that it was void ab initio. The entire seizure was illegal. You can't just say, okay, now how much do you want for it? You know, that's like saying, here, you know, I've kidnapped 3 of your children. Which one do you want back? You know, I mean, and so all the Lakota people said, absolutely not. We're not going to take any money from the Black Hills. We're going to refuse to accept any of the money. So the United States government printed up extra money at the value of the land that they had assumed it was back in 1874. And they put it in an account and said, there, you can have that whenever you want it. So now the U.S. government owns the Black Hills. Now, none of the people in the Oceti-Sakowin have recognized the legitimacy of that seizure of the Black Hills. The same thing is true